it's Brandy, and we've got another Horror Media Monthly coming at you. This is covering everything that I checked out in the previous month, and we had a lot of new releases in August and spilling into September, so it's been a really good time for horror. Obviously, we're in spoopy season, so there's going to be new movies and shows and games coming out. So I'm really excited that we're going to get to touch on all of those. And going into the next couple of months, I'm going to be starting to change up how I do these videos. I might be breaking them into just discussing some of the new releases rather than necessarily checking out all of the old stuff. So I would love to hear your feedback down below if you like the idea of me just touching on newer ones, or if you kind of like me doing an overall video discussing everything that I've checked out. But I'm gonna try a new style going forward, so let me know what you think. But before we get into everything today, full reminder, I do put up new videos for every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern. Hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to always be notified when a new video goes up. And if you like gaming content or want to check out any of the games that I will be talking about today, full playthroughs of those are all up on my gaming channel. And if you want to catch me live, sometimes I stream Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. Feel free to join for those late night vibes. We'd love to have you. But without further ado, we're going to jump into all of the juicy horror content that I consumed in the last month. Starting off first with a very strong one, the movie Weapons came out. And there was so much hype surrounding this movie release that I was a little nervous going into it, because I feel like in the past year, we got so much hype for Longlegs, and Longlegs was kind of for me. There was so much hype around this movie that I was like, I really hope it's not going to be another letdown, and it wasn't. Weapons is about when all but one child from the same classroom mysteriously vanishes on the same night at exactly the same time, and a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. This movie stars Julia Garner, and she is absolutely incredible. Everything I've seen her in up to this point, she's been really good in. I feel like she acts with her everything. She gives the emotion, she gives the facial, she gives the psychological feelings, and Weapons does not disappoint. This movie, it was a little bit of a slow burn at first because I didn't know the direction they were going to take with it. Obviously, from the trailer, we know that the kids go missing. We know that she's their teacher. We don't really know much more from that. We don't know if this is just like we don't know if this is supernatural. We don't know if it's just regular bad people. We don't know how things are going to progress. And I didn't know the direction this movie was going to take at any point of the movie. Really like the style of how this movie is done, because it's done in a way where we get each character's perspective in almost like chapters, where we start off with Julia Garner's character, and then we kind of go down the line of getting the perspective of other characters as their timelines overlap, and then we understand how each character spills into the next one, which I thought was a really clever way of doing this movie, because it doesn't give away any of the ending until the ending. It's not necessarily a full linear story, but as you fill in the gaps, you're constantly like, oh, like it all makes sense. Honestly, I loved every character in this movie. Even the characters in the beginning of the movie that I disliked, by the end of it, I ended up liking them. So if you have not seen Weapons, I highly suggest it. This was a really good one for me. It was a new concept. It was a new idea. I wish there was a little bit more horror, honestly, to it. But another really good one. This was from the same person who created Barbarian. If you like that movie, you're gonna like this one. And then next up, I checked out another movie that was new this year. Came out back in February. It was actually a Hulu original called The Bayou. Now, I'll be honest, this movie looks like a sci-fi original movie. And this movie acts like a sci-fi original movie. So The Bayou is about a vacation that turns to disaster when Kyle and her friends escape a plane crash in the desolate Louisiana Everglades, only to discover there's something more dangerous lurking in the shallows. So I initially chose to watch this movie because I recognized one of the actors, and it was somebody that was also in Winx Club Sagas. If you've seen the Fate series over on Netflix, you're going to see a familiar face in this movie. But honestly, I didn't go into this movie with super high expectations. It looked like a creature feature movie with alligators, and that's exactly what it was. It was like alligators on like crack. They were just absolutely like craziness, and they were attacking all of the people, the concept of the movie is their plane crashing in Louisiana, and like somehow it feels like they're in the middle of nowhere. Like, I did not think Louisiana bayous were that big. I don't know. I've never been to Louisiana. I'm a New York girly. I can't really attest to that. But the fact that it was like in the United States, but that they seemed so desolate was kind of interesting to me. Don't know the validity in that. But the movie was like a fun, stupid watch. Like, you expected most of the characters to have these like crazy deaths and it'd be over the top. And that's exactly what it was. So if you want a good, just popcorn, like, you know what to expect out of this movie, this was definitely one of those types. And then a super anticipated show came out, and that was Dexter Resurrection. This actually aired over the course of a few months, but I'm one of those that likes to wait until like all of the episodes are out, and then I just binge the show in like a weekend. So that's what I did with Dexter. And I'm so glad that I did, because this left so many episodes on cliffhangers that I was like, I need to know what happens now. And I ended up binging the entire show in a day. And then I watched the last episode the next day. Don't sue me, okay? But if you haven't checked out Dexter Resurrection, it follows Dexter Morgan after he awakens from a coma in New York City. A few weeks after his son Harrison had shot him in Dexter New Blood, he wakes up and he's determined to find Harrison and make things right. The story pretty much picks up directly where the last show ended, so highly necessary to have watched both the original Dexter and Dexter New Blood. This brings in characters from the original show, it brings in characters from the spin-off, and obviously you knowing Harrison and his full relationship to Dexter with their estranged father-son relationship, you get more of that in the previous shows, and it just jumps into it head first with this one. I definitely recommend watching those first before watching this. Not to mention Dexter is great, so I would highly recommend checking it out in general. If you don't know anything about Dexter, he's essentially a serial unaliver, but he has a code where he only takes out people who have also unalived people or like done really horrible things. So he only takes out bad people, essentially. Some people get in the crosshairs and it doesn't work that way. It's like you, but with moral standards. But this season honestly was so good. Dexter New Blood was like, it was good, but I wasn't like wowed. This one wowed me. We get Peter Dinklage in this as well. His character is fantastic. The whole concept that goes on in this particular season is really interesting. We get Uma Thurman as well. We got some big name actors coming in with this, and it already got renewed for a second season, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get next. But this is, don't miss this. This was a Showtime original. I got it through like the Showtime add-on for Paramount Plus is how I watched it, but this is a must watch. And then I went through a bunch of games this past month because I did like a horror-thon where I just streamed like a ton of games in one sitting. So we power pushed through a bunch of indie ones. First off being another Chilla's Arts game. We checked out The Caregiver. And this one, you are this girl Sachi and you're assigned to an elderly man named Sochi. And strange events start occurring at his house. And after Sachi takes some sick days, her colleague Naomi, or who you play as, also then takes over the job and starts investigating, and you start kind of finding all of this crazy crap going on in the house, and then shit hits the fan. Pretty much like any other Chilla's Arts game, it starts off slow, it has a little bit of a slow burn until like all hell breaks loose and you're sprinting and running and you're trying to collect information while like you're also being chased at the same time. Follow suit. If you like Chilla's Arts games, this was another good one. And then I played another cute game that was a horror game that was kind of cute. It was called Rental. And honestly, it gave me like Animal Crossing meets SPOOPY stuff vibes, where you play as this cute bunny character named Yumi, and you rent a vacation house with your family to discover that the house is cursed by a demon. This is actually a free game to play on Steam. It was only like 20, maybe 30 minutes, but it gave such like retro PS1 vibes with the graphics and the look of things. Very quick playthrough, but cute nonetheless. And like I said, you play as this cute bunny, which is for sure what gave me the Animal Crossing vibes. So if you're looking for something like quick and simple to just kind of dive into, definitely recommend this one. Then we had a new game that just dropped actually in the past month, and that was Nightmare Shift. This was terrifying. So good, so spoopy, right up my alley. It's a psychological horror game where you control Emma, the new motel receptionist, whose first night shift spirals into a terrifying experience as the line between reality and nightmare blurs. This game has lots of puzzles. It has a lot of interesting characters that you interact with and you start to learn about. And the story itself, as it unfolds, is honestly terrifying because it kind of plays on like things that could happen in real life, which I think is what makes it more spooky. It definitely feels, if you've ever played some of the Fears to Fathom games, it gave those kinds of vibes, in my opinion, of how the story kind of unfolds. But also what I've learned from this is I am never doing a nighttime closing shift anywhere ever. Never in a million years am I working a job where I'm all by myself, especially in an outdoor location where nobody else is around and I have to be there alone outside in the dark. It's not happening. And this game just solidified that, like, that's a huge no-go for me. Don't know why that keeps happening. I mean, this is the premise in so many of these games where you're doing something alone in the dark at night. We would not have horror if it were not for dumb people doing these dumb things. And this game is the creme de la creme of doing stupid shit at night, and it's terrifying. Speaking of stupid shit at night, I also played the game Mists of Aden, which is a first-person horror game. You play as a thief who's trapped in this eerie mansion, and each choice that you make opens new mysteries of the house and leads you to new areas so you can uncover the final secrets. And the way the game plays is you kind of replay the same premise of the game, where the game is you're a thief, you're going into the mansion to steal something, and then you're trying to get out. And the whole time you have like your partner in your walkie like telling you where to go, where the jewels are, and you go into the house and you follow the process of finding this particular thing. Weird stuff happens, and then like somehow you escape, and then you repeat the night. But it's slightly different each time you repeat it, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder as the story progresses, but in like a very unique, interesting, terrifying way. It's hard to describe exactly the story as it unfolds without spoiling things, but definitely highly recommend Mists of Aden. This was one that I got a bit back and then just hadn't gotten around to playing it, so I'm so glad that I actually had the time to do so. And then last we had Platform 8. This was a game that came out last year, and it's a walking simulator that is more of a spot the anomaly type of deal. This one honestly felt very similar to Shikansen Zero, which was a Chillis Arts game we covered last year, I want to say it was. Very, very similar game where you're on a train, bullet train, and you're looking for anomalies as you are going through the train cars. I guess this was a sequel to another game called Exit 8, which I haven't gotten to check that one out yet. I don't think it's like a direct sequel per se of like story-wise, because there's not much of a story in it. But I definitely enjoyed this one, and I want to play that other one as well. But it's your standard find the anomalies, decide whether to go forward or not, and then move from there. So pretty standard in terms of anomaly games. Worth checking out, but it wasn't anything that was like too stand out-ish in my opinion. But ultimately, that was all of the horror that I consumed in August. It wasn't as much in the movies and shows, but for the month of September, and I know October coming up, we've got a lot coming. So expect more in-depth into the movies and shows elements. But like I said, I think for future episodes I might break things down into individual videos of like a new movie drops, let's do a dedicated video for that movie as opposed to this large synopsis. I feel like I don't get to the content fast enough since I'm waiting till the end of the month to make the video. So let me know your thoughts on taking this formula and chopping it into more videos, but focusing on just one show or movie at a time. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. That is all that I've got for today. If you do enjoy horror as much as I do, give this a big thumbs up. Let me know you want to see more of this type of content, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye, fam!